Hello and welcome back to The Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. Today, I want to share with you your two most powerful routines. The reality is you're already doing these each and every day, but you can make these be so much more effective to create the routines in your life. When a routine becomes a habit, or when a habit becomes part of a routine, that is how we can consistently get the important things done in our life in the midst of a crazy busy life. All of us have a lot happening in our lives. That's just the reality of the world that we live in. Things are really busy. And so how can we get the important things done? I have found that if I will harness the power of adding a habit to a routine that I already have in place, this is the way that I can consistently get the important things done in my life. So what are these two routines? Well, the reality is that all of us wake up in the morning and all of us go to bed at night. So your morning routine and your evening routine, these two routines can become the most powerful routines if you will realize how important they are and take time to think of the things that you can add into those routines. Your routines do not have to be the same as mine. Personally, I feel like I have a little bit more flexibility in the evenings if I take the time that's starting after dinner and look at that as my evening routine. Most evenings, we are home by a certain time, and so I have a little bit more margin during that time. In the mornings, unless I want to get up really, really early, which means going to bed really, really early, I feel like that time is a little bit more compact. And so I have to be more specific on exactly what I want for that routine. So I have more time in my evening routine. You may be the completely opposite. You may get home really late and only have a small window of time in the evening, and your mornings may be a little bit more open. So keep an open mind. Your routine doesn't have to look just like mine, but I encourage you to take something from this and to transform your mornings and your evenings. Here are a few quick tips to help you when you are determining how that you want to set up your morning and your evening routines. First, you want to make a list of the things that you want to get done. What are some important things that you would like to add into your life? Is it exercise? Is it a devotion, reading your Bible, prayer time? Is it spending some one-on-one time with your spouse or with your children? Is it reading a chapter of that book? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's list, but you make a list of the things that you want to accomplish. The second thing you want to do is you want to determine if it needs to be added to your morning or your evening. And the lovely part is this is not set in stone. You can totally change these up. Earlier this year, I wanted to add an exercise, and so I was adding it into my mornings. It's only a 10-minute exercise, but sometimes I found that it didn't work out for me. Many times I prefer to shower in the evening, and that way I get up in the morning and all I have to do is get dressed, wash my face, brush my teeth, I'll be ready for the day. And by adding that exercise and doing my shower and all of that in the morning, that was an extra 45 minutes that I was taking away from the morning. So I moved that to my evening. This is flexible, but to start with, look at your morning, look at your evening, and grab something from that list and determine, would this fit best in my evening routine or in my morning routine? Now, the third tip, and I feel like this is the most powerful one, is add it to something you are already doing. This is called habit stacking. I really enjoyed reading the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. I encourage you to grab that book. I'll put a link of it in the blog post. This book really gives a lot of great tips on habits, and one of the things that he recommends you do is habit stack. So when you're looking to add that thing in, what is something that you're already doing? So here's a great example. When I get up in the morning and I come downstairs, the very first thing I do is I fix a cup of coffee. This is a habit I have had for a really, really long time. I believe I started this habit right after my son was born, and he's 14. So it's been going on for a long time. Well, several years ago, I had been very regularly reading my Bible, prayer and devotion time, but I felt like sometimes it would be later in the day that I was doing it, or I may miss a day, and I wanted to really concrete that consistency. So I decided that I wanted it to be the first thing that I did every morning. So when I come down the stairs, I fix a cup of coffee, and I know that I always go sit in my favorite chair. What I decided to do is to take my Bible and put it in that chair. That way, every morning when I come down the stairs, fix my cup of coffee, which I'm going to do every day because I've been doing it for years and years. It's just a habit that is something that is already ingrained in my mind. I don't even really think about it. But when I go to sit in that chair, there is my Bible. Now, I no longer have to leave my Bible there because that has become a habit. Every single day, I'm going to fix my coffee and then I'm going to read my Bible. So if I wanted to add something additionally to that habit, then I would stack another habit on top of that. So find something that you're already mindlessly doing and go ahead and add it in. Recently, I was on a call with a client for productivity coaching, and she was talking about how that while that her home typically stays really tidy and she feels like she has those things in order, she had this particular place in her room. There was a chair, and her clothes just tended to pile up on that chair. So we wanted to create a habit where that she would clear that chair every single day and then eventually just get in the habit of hanging her clothes up. As soon as she would change clothes, she would either put them in the hamper or hang them up. But first, we wanted to create the habit of just being sure that that chair was clear every single day. Each evening, she would climb in the bed and read a book. That's something that she did every single night. So what we decided to do is we created a habit where that before she gets in the bed, she, in fact, could set a timer on her phone to remind her each day about the same time that she gets in the bed, about 10 minutes before that timer is going to go off, and remind her, hey, I need to pick up all of the clothes that are on that chair. And so eventually, picking up the clothes, putting them away that are on that chair, because she has stacked it with something she's already doing, that is going to become a habit in her life. Let me walk you through what I do in my mornings and what I do in my evenings, just to give you a few examples, and maybe this will trigger something in your mind that helps you to think of something that you would like to add into your morning and evening habits. When I wake up in the morning, a recent habit I've added is I go straight into the bathroom and I weigh myself. This way I consistently can see what I weigh, and it keeps my mind focused on today I need to eat healthy. Every day I need to eat healthy, but it kind of keeps that into my mind. So I've started weighing every single morning. I come down the stairs, I fix a cup of coffee, I go sit in my chair and I read my Bible, I pray, and I do my devotion. Then I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to get dressed for the day. Typically my daughter is still asleep, and so I'm going to take the time that I have until she wakes up, and I'm going to get some focused work done. This has been really transformational to me in the mornings because I am a morning person. I am someone that my mind is sharpest in the morning. In the evenings, I can't think quite as clearly. And so if there's a task, especially if it's one that is a deep thinking task or something that I might find myself wanting to put off later in the day, I will plug that in to that 30 or 45 minute window that I have, and I will get that focused work done right then. About that time, it's time to get her up, get her ready for school, get her breakfast, and get her out the door to school. So that is typically what my morning habit consists of. My morning routine is pretty simple because a lot of the things I have habit stacked into my evening routine to prepare for the morning to make it really seamless. My evening routine typically starts around the time I start dinner prep. I have about the same time that I start preparing for dinner every night. And during dinner prep, I am going to think about what I'm cooking for dinner the next night. Do I need to stick some meat in the refrigerator to start thawing out? And I'm going to fix my daughter's lunch for school the next day. That way that's taken care of and it's not something I'm having to add into my morning routine. After dinner, I'm going to clean the kitchen, and typically we will do our nightly pickup where we make sure that everything is picked up in the house. I'm going to sit out her backpack, make sure that I've checked the folder, that everything is ready for the next day. And if I have a meeting the next morning, or if I have somewhere to be the next morning, typically I do work from home, but if I need to go somewhere, I'm also going to sit my bag out, and that is just another way to make the next morning easier. I'm also going to check to be sure that I have my daughter's school clothes laid out, and then I have my clothes hung up in my closet, ready to go for the next day, so I don't have to think about that the next morning. I'm going to add that 10-minute workout in, and I'm going to get a shower. During that time, I'm also getting my daughter a bath, getting her in the bed, and then I'm going to start winding down for the evening. I have really tried to close my laptop at least an hour before I'm going to bed, to plug my phone in the bathroom so it's away from my nightstand, and that way it's not distracting me and I can get a really good night's sleep. As you can see, these two routines, you can really add anything in that you want. What is something that you have wanted to accomplish? You can accomplish it. And I imagine that you can start accomplishing that by adding a habit into your morning or your evening routine. I know that if you harness the power of these two routines, that you will find a lot of margin in your life for the good things. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you'll be notified when the next video goes live.